let's be honest, as fun and as exciting as dates can be, things can certainly get super awkward. In fact, so awkward that some might even avoid it altogether. And with everyone's first date usually comes their version of an awkward story. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jordan of TheFearRaiser, and welcome to Raiserverse, the show where we bring your stories to life. Today, we will be going through some of the incredibly awkward first dates that you guys sent in to us, which you can also do by submitting your stories to our subreddit page and or email, links both down in the description below. Now, let's get into those delicious awkward stories. Our first story is titled, Dates and Walmart Don't Go Together, by Casanolo. Okay, this wasn't my first date, but it was indeed my worst date. So this happened like in January. I was at Tim Hortons with a friend of mine, and we were doing a bit of catching up with each other. While we were talking about certain subjects such as books and movies and whatnot, this hot girl came in. My friend and I literally stopped talking and we just stared at her. My friend, who was an atheist, he jokingly said that he now believed in God after seeing her. He wanted to talk to her so bad, and so did I. So we decided that the winner of rock, paper, scissors will talk to her. So obviously, since this story is about my date with her, I won the game. After that, I made my way to her, and not gonna lie, I was nervous. But luckily, she had dropped some books she was carrying. So, being a gentleman with an ulterior motive, I helped her. So, she thanked me for helping her, and from there, we talked and got to know each other a bit more. It was pretty awkward that Alex, who was the name of my friend, was watching me talking to Alina, which was the name of the girl. So Alina actually came up with the idea of going on a date that same day, but at 7 p.m. Score! So 7 p.m. came along, and we went into the Uber. Alina blindfolded me for some reason and told me we were going to a special place apparently. So I went along with the gimmick. She stopped the Uber and took me out of the car and removed the blindfolds. We were at Walmart. I thought that she needed to buy something before our date, but Walmart turned out to be the actual setting of our date. I kid you not. Alina took me to Walmart of all places for our date. She brought me inside and we were just walking and me listening to her rambling stories. She kept on talking about her ex named Bob, and it was quite obvious that she hasn't moved on. So she had like 2 bottles of wine in her purse, and she drank like there was no tomorrow. Great, now my date was drunk while we were in Walmart. Then she, of all things in Walmart, kept trying to pull down my pants in public. Wow, seriously? She kept on telling me to make out with her in the middle of Walmart and to not give a care to the world if anyone sees us. I'm sorry, is this story legit? This is wow, this is nuts. I'll keep reading. I question, could anything worse happen? And if you've seen that common trope in TV shows, something worse did in fact happen. Her ex Bob came and saw her, and she saw him. She literally ran to him and told him that I got her drunk and tried to harass her in a Walmart. What? Why would I try and get a girl drunk and harass her in Walmart of all places? Thankfully, Bob believed me since she knows how Alina is and told me that's one of the reasons why he dumped her. While Alina was being a kiss-ass to Bob, I went home, launched myself on the sofa, and spent the rest of my night reflecting on what just happened.
Our next story is titled Friend Zone by the King of Faces. So, there was this girl I really liked. Let's call her Macy. Me and Macy were really good friends, but I felt I still didn't know enough about her. So, I invited her over to my house to hang out a bit. Of course, she came over, but what was weird was, before she came over to my house, she left me a message saying, "It's a date." I was confused because I didn't think she liked me, but at the same time, I was super happy, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, is this really happening? So, she came over, we talked and hung out for a bit. After some time, I told her, this date is super fun so far. Next thing I know, she tells me, what date are you talking about? I was unhappy and confused when she said that. Moments later, someone texted her. I thought that was her friend and asked, is that your friend? She replies with, you mean my boyfriend? I went super pale as if I saw a ghost. I almost blacked out. I told her that this was definitely a date, and she said she was just joking around. It got super awkward. Me and her are still good friends, but to this day, it's been very weird with her.
Our next story is titled, I Thought It Would Be My First Date, by Alikska. Bear with me, folks. I'm not a female voice actor, so this might sound weird. So there is one boy in my class, let's call him Daniel. At the time, I liked him. He was one of the popular boys and everyone had a crush on him. One day, he texted me and said, "Hey, wanna hang out sometime?" I was really confused at first and I thought, why the heck would he text me? Because at the time, I was the quiet person and really didn't talk to anyone. So I texted him, "Are you the real Daniel?" And I asked him some questions to know that he was real. He answered everything correctly, and I was like, okay, he's real. So we texted each other for a little while, and it turned into an hour or something. But then he asked, "Do you want to go to the films with me?" And I was like, yes. Then he said, "Let's get the last seats because that's the kiss spot." I was shocked at first, but then 3 minutes later he texted me saying, "I think I'm gonna cancel this all because you are stupid and nobody likes you." What? It broke my heart and I cried. The next day I found out that he wasn't real. It was in fact some mean girls who had made a fake profile of him. Then the rumor spread around that I liked him. Oh, that was so awkward. That was the most awkward thing that's ever happened to me.
This next story is titled, My Embarrassing First Date, by Stealthy Ninja 369. So, me and my friends were doing our first double date. I've been on 2 regular dates before this. Anyways, we met up at the arcade pizza place. We thought it was going to be a good date, but it backfired horribly. We got some pizza, and since I'm 90% lactose intolerant, I have to take pills whenever I eat pizza or dairy stuff. But unfortunately, I forgot my pills that date. I told my date and my 2 friends I wasn't going to eat pizza, but they kept bugging me and my date said, "Pretty please, for me?" Now that was my weakness. I ordered pizza, but my friend told the waiter to make it extra cheesy since he thought I was lying. I didn't know at the time, but I definitely figured it out. After eating the pizza, I went to the bathroom and started puking. I thought it was done, but right as I sit back down at the table, I puked one single time. It was the worst timing ever. Me, my date, and my 2 other friends left the place, and whenever any of them brings something about that up, I'd slap them.
And our last story is titled, Most Embarrassing First Date, by GV the Lit.
It happened in grade 7. I had a crush on this girl. Let's call her Anne. So I had a crush on her and I really liked her. She was even in my class, so I would look at her almost every day. But I looked at her hair because I was sitting behind her. But it was better than nothing. But one time at lunch, Anne came and sat right by me and whispered, "Is it okay if I ask you on a date?" I got excited and said, "Yes, of course I'll go on a date with you." She wanted me to meet her at her house. My first thought was, why at her house? Because when I think of a date, I think of a couple walking in the park or something. But I didn't want to question her. So on Friday after school, I got ready for the date. When I came in front of her house, Anne's dad was outside. He told me that Anne was waiting for me in the living room. I entered the house and asked Anne if she is ready, and she said, "Yeah, let's go to my room." I was again starting to question, why here of all nice cafes around the city? But still, maybe this is her first date. We entered her room and sat down on the chairs. Then Anne was asking me questions like, "What food do you like?" Or "What kind of girls are you into?" I answered honestly on these questions, but after an hour, Anne was looking at me strange. It was awkward because we were laughing at teachers we had moments ago, and I asked her, is something wrong or is she sick? But after, I'll tell you this. Remember, she to this day didn't forgive me. I sat on her underwear, my longest awkward minute in my life, and I got red. She was yelling at me to leave the room. I waited a few minutes before she opened the door, She calmed down in another few minutes of awkward looking. But after that, she told me to leave the house and never come back? After a few months, we talked again, so I guess things are fine. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Raiserverse. We hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more great content to come, and of course, support us by following me on my social media and checking out some other videos on my channel. And don't forget to submit your stories so that it has a chance to end up in next week's episode of Raiserverse, as we know you've all got incredible stories to share. But until next time, see ya!